let me tell you a little something about bed rotting. So what is bed rotting? There are lots of different people who describe bed rotting differently, but I'm going to tell you how I define it. Bed rotting is when you're in a certain state where you're not resting. And what you're doing is not exactly productive, but you're laying down or lounging, maybe scrolling on your phone, maybe just lying awake, but you're in a certain state of feeling stuck, like you can't get out, like you can't get up, and you might be neglecting other things that you have to do or want to do, but you feel like you just can't for some reason. Basically, you laying down and lounging for maybe hours and hours feels detrimental to you. And the whole time you're doing it, you probably feel aware of all the things that you're not doing that you really want to, and that's tormenting you in your head. And it tends to be a cycle and you don't know how to get out of it. Maybe bed rotting eats up all of your free time. Maybe you procrastinate by bed rotting. But either way, it puts you in a state of turmoil. That's what I want to address. You know, I really thought I was alone in this, but then when I started posting about it on the internet, it turns out that a lot of people actually feel that way too. Yay! But yeah, it's a really tough spot to get out of. So how do we get here? How does this happen? Well, it can happen for a lot of different reasons. Some people have mental health issues like depression or anxiety, chronic health issues, issues with their hormones, issues with their gut, thyroid issues that affect their fatigue level, ADHD, grieving a loved one, going through a breakup, a physical injury that has severely affected your ability to move around. I feel like we all come from different places and we're just conjoined at this one central rot spot and don't know how to get out. I'm gonna go so deep into this in more videos. This is just meant to be a little introduction, but I have struggled with this for most of my life, as far as I can remember. And it wasn't until last year in October 2023 that I actually started creating real improvement for myself. And I think this can help you too. You might be putting too much pressure on you to be perfect or to be like other people who don't struggle with this rotting. It's kind of hard to explain to people who don't go through it because there are people that have it in their brain that they need to do something and then they just do it, just simply do it. They might even be like, oh, I don't want to, I don't feel like it, I just want to lay in bed, but I gotta get up, so I'm gonna do it. But for a lot of us, it's not that easy. Even if we're physically capable, there's still some sort of barrier in here going on. But if you're putting too much pressure on yourself to be like people who don't struggle with this, I think you're actually making it harder for yourself. If you're trying to make these big dramatic changes overnight, you're gonna burn yourself out because that is not sustainable. If you've spent a long time in bed rotting habits, you're not just gonna turn that off overnight. And maybe you don't need to necessarily turn it off. Maybe you need to embrace it. Here's what I mean. Maybe accept that this is where you are right now, but you're gonna meet yourself where you're at and then work from there. Don't judge yourself, don't shame yourself. Just understand where you are and nurture that, and then slowly, gradually figure out how to get out of that little comfort bubble that you have. That's a little something I call rotting in peace. Rotting in peace is all about not doing away with rotting and bed rotting, but finding ways to do it in a way that doesn't put you in a state of turmoil, but you can do it in a state of peace. I have just been getting better and better at this every single month, and I'm gonna share with you how. I'm just gonna share 2 tips with you, and I'm gonna tell you how I do these tips. So the first tip is something I wanna call feet on the floor. Here's where feet on the floor came from. So there I was in middle school. My mom had to wake me up for school, but I was not having it. I require a minimum of 2 hours in bed awake before I actually exit the bed. But when you wake up right before school's gonna start, that's not an option. You gotta get up. Well, I still struggle to do that anyways. So my mom told me, just put your feet on the floor. And I was like, what do you mean? And she's like, just put your feet on the floor. So I did that. I dragged my legs out of the bed and just touched the bottom of my feet to the floor. And guess what? That gave me a sense of momentum to then realign my body so that I'm sitting on the edge of my bed. And then once I was upright and a little more oriented, I was like, well, now I have momentum to stand up, and so on and so forth. This is establishing momentum. Don't think about the future and the next thing and the next thing and the next thing you have to do. Just think about the smallest, most minimal, rudimentary, basic action you can do right now. Feet on the floor. You can do that. Even if it's outside your comfort zone, it's just a smidgen outside of your comfort zone. But once you achieve that, you've established a new baseline for yourself, a new comfort zone for yourself, and then you can slightly expand it a little bit from there. And when you keep doing that, you're gradually increasing your comfort bubble to get bigger and bigger and bigger, so that when you look back and see all the progress you've made, you're like, wait, how did I do that? I couldn't even do step 1, and now I'm on step 73. Feet on the floor. And you can apply this mindset to a lot of different actions, but I like the visualization of this happening from the moment you're trying to get out of bed and start your day. Okay, so the second tip I'm going to share with you is to parent yourself out loud. And by this, I literally mean to speak out loud to yourself and tell yourself what to do. So let's use the getting out of bed example again. So let's say you're lying there in bed and you're awake and you have to get up, but you don't want to get up, but you have to. Here's an example of what you're going to do. Okay, it's time to get up. You're going to be okay, and you have to do this eventually. So why not do it now when you have more time? You can chill out later, but in 3 seconds, you're going to get out of this bed. Here, I'll count with you. Ready? 3, 2, 1. Okay, get your feet on the floor. Get up. Raise your head up. Raise your head up. Get on the edge of the bed. There you go. Good job. Put your left foot down. Put your right foot down. Now on the count of 3, we're going to stand up. 1, 2, 3. Stand up. See, you did it. Now walk to the bathroom and pee. You see what I mean? What that does is put all these racing thoughts in your head about what you have to do and what you haven't done. It puts them out here. It takes them from your head and it puts it out into the tangible world. So it can't just float around as much. It's more concrete and there's more authority in hearing a voice speak this to you. And there's power in that voice being you. It's kind of like a reminder that you can do this. It feels tough, but you can do this. And you're using an authoritative kind of approach with yourself to say, listen, we've got to do this. And it makes your thoughts stick a little more because you hear it and your vocal cords are vibrating. And I don't know, it just feels more real when it's not just inside your head. But those are just a few of my introductory points to rotting and bed rotting and rotting in peace. That's my thing, by the way, rotting in peace. I love it. I'm going to go now because I have things to do, but I hope you enjoyed. Share what else you want me to talk about because I've got a lot more to talk about. Okay, bye.